Since you guys really enjoyed my last video about secrets you have never heard of in WoW, I decided to make another one for you guys. Don't worry, I didn't stop making mount guides, and my next upload should be a bigger guide for all of you mount enthusiasts out there. Did you guys know that warlocks, more specifically destruction warlocks, can turn their fire spells green? Well, yes, of course you knew, since this isn't a secret or anything new, but did you know that it turns everything fire related green, even if you're not a destruction warlock? What do I mean by that? Well, if you completed the quest which rewards you with the Codex of Zerath, it will not only turn your spells green, but also your mounts. Unfortunately not every fire mount, but your Fairland Dreadsteed, your classic mounts from the very beginning, are now gonna be green, which I honestly didn't know until I started researching for this video, but it's still very cool and refreshing to see these two in a new color. During Vanilla WoW back in 2004, there was a joke spread around online that if you looked through this fire crack behind Golem, you could see Ragnaros, who would then kill you once he spotted you. Obviously, you couldn't, since it was a bad joke, but once the 10th anniversary of WoW rolled around and they re-released the Molten Core raid, people tried it again and this actually worked. You could look through the crack and get killed by Ragnaros himself.
What?
It's a quick little fact for all my hunter mates out there. In the Sholazar Basin Zone, there was a slime mob called Spirit of Kusu, which used to have the Spirit Beast tag. Everyone who plays a hunter knows that you can tame Spirit Beasts. Blizzard obviously fixed this, since it wasn't intended for hunters to be able to tame random slimes now, but if you tamed it before they rolled out the fix, you were able to keep it. Another funny bug with hunter pets was that you were actually able to tame a worgen. There was a wolf patrolling around the Howling Fjord, which would turn into a worgen mid-combat. Since the wolf is technically a beast, hunters were able to tame the worgen and then have it as a pet. Unlike the slime though, people who tamed the worgen before Blizzard fixed the bug were not allowed to keep it, and every worgen pet was replaced with a white wolf shortly after fixing the bug. If you enjoyed these secrets until now and you don't want to miss out on hundreds more I got lined up for the future, consider liking and subscribing to my channel. It really helps out a lot, and this way I know what you guys enjoy. If you ever change your mind or don't want to consume my content anymore, there's no shame in taking the sub away. If you want to link up with our community and play together or share more secrets with each other and possibly get featured in a future video of mine, join my Discord. Link for that down below. There's a sunken ship near the coast of the Isle of Thunder called Haemon's Hubris, which at first glance isn't anything special or interesting, just another random shipwreck. But in BFA, they added another shipwreck near the coast of Vol'dun, called Haemon's Hideaway, which was turned into a bar. This bar has a hearthstone hidden away in some corner, and if you click said hearthstone, it will teleport you to the shipwreck on the Isle of Thunder. If you've ever been on the Isle of Giants before, you probably stumbled across this crashed Zeppelin with different NPCs around it. If you take a closer look at their names, you will realize that these characters are a reference to the Jurassic Park movies. Ethan Hamlock for John Hammond, Agron Sharpshot as Dr. Alan Grant, Nellie Sattler as Ellie Sattler. Them crashing on the Isle of Giants, which is filled with different dinosaurs, basically confirms all of this even more. On the Timeless Isle there are plenty of different Easter eggs and secrets, but there's one that was never really explained by Blizzard. I'm talking about this little cave below the water with nothing but 4 chairs around a blue campfire. This did literally nothing and had zero purpose up until the Warlords of Draenor release, which is when the campfire became clickable once you sat down on one of these chairs. Clicking the fire resulted in you getting teleported to Gorgrond in Warlords of Draenor. Why does this work and why was this implemented years later? No one really knows. The only real purpose for this nowadays is either teleporting from mob to ward and back, or skipping the initial garrison quests if you want to farm ward content without having to go through the hassle of setting up your garrison. For all of you newcomers to WoW that don't know much about the history of development in this game, this might be interesting for you guys. Back before the game actually released, there was a mechanic that involved you having to craft torches and other survival items in order to be able to see and not die basically. Places like Darkshore were completely dark, obviously, and you were only able to see with the torches you had to craft. Although this feature never made it into the game, as you may know, there are still fragments of this feature left. The NPCs walking around the zone are all holding torches or some kind of lights in order for them to see their way. Although this feature sounds pretty cool in theory, I think it would have gotten very annoying very quickly, and I'm glad they decided against it. Since you guys really like the commercial videos of WoW, I decided to show you another piece of media that changed WoW forever. Literally. There was a commercial with Mr. T who claimed that he hacked the game and that he was a Night Elf Mohawk. Yes, a Night Elf Mohawk. Not a warrior or a mage, a Mohawk. See for yourself.
I'm Mr. T and I'm a Night Elf Mohawk. What's your game?
Some smack-talking fool's been saying Mr. T can't change the world of Warcraft. He ain't no computer hacker. Well, answer me this, suckers. How do you explain the Mohawk grenade? Yeah, wherever I go, I'm making Warcraft look good. So don't give me no back talk.
This commercial was so popular that Blizzard eventually added the option to give your night elf a mohawk haircut at the barbershop, since at the time of this commercial there was no mohawk haircut for night elves. There is a seemingly random engineering trainer in the mines of Mulgore. Not a reference nor anything near him that would explain the reason why he was placed there. Just a random engineering trainer. If you make your way to the very edge of Silithus, beyond the outdoor Anchorage zone, to this spot right here, you will find a cave. Inside this cave there is nothing but a level 30 red dragon called Andre Strass. You cannot interact with him in any way and he does nothing but sleep all the time. This dragon was added in patch 5.3 and used to be level 5 before they introduced the level squish with the Shadowlands expansions. Some people say this dragon is an homage to someone's kid who was probably also called Andre that passed away at age 5, but none of this was ever confirmed by Blizzard. Although not confirmed, this theory is the most logical of all the theories I've found on the internet, since it's just such a specific name and level, and you never see this character besides this cave, not even in the Dragon Isles. If this theory is true though, it is one of the nicest memories in the game. There's an incredibly early screenshot of the WoW map with some very interesting things marked out, like for example the Karazhan raid, an island to the west of Stranglethorn called Zandalar, or an island at the northern part of the Eastern Kingdoms called the Dragon Isles. Apparently at the early development stages of WoW there was also some dungeons planned that never saw the light of day, like the Kobold Lair and Jadenar for example. Pretty interesting to see that things like the Dragon Isles or Zandalar were designed decades ago but still managed to get released all this time later. In the game files there's an item called Unknown Reward, with the flavor text saying it is not known what the reward will be.
Alright then, keep your secrets.
Did you guys ever wonder what happened to our trusted and loved Weapon Master Wu Ping from Classic? I mean, everyone knows this shirtless guy, but where did he go? Well, with the removal of weapon skills in Cataclysm, they also removed all the weapon trainers. But one curious player asked a GM one day about the fate of Wu Ping, and they responded with this.
When Deathwing arrived at Stormwind, it was none other than Master Wu Ping who came to the rescue. Armed with his trusty arsenal, Wu Ping rushed to face the beast. A great battle commenced between dragon and man. Buildings were torched and crushed, and civilians ran for cover the best they could, while Wu Ping and Deathwing exchanged blows. Wu Ping, being the great weapon master that he is, took polearm in hand and thrusted it to Deathwing for leverage. He then reached for his trusty sword and, with a great leap, launched himself off the lodged polearm and stuck his sword into Deathwing's ribs. Deathwing, clearly now infuriated, started to fly while Wu Ping was still grasping his sword to flee from Stormwind. Wu Ping clung on for dear life as the two vacated the city. His location is now unknown. If not for the valiant efforts of Master Wu Ping, Stormwind would be in far greater ruin.
So there's still a chance of Wu Ping being alive out there. Pretty cool way to go, not gonna lie. In the Valley of Trials, the Orc and the Troll starting area, there's a group of random vendors. But if you keep watching them for a while, the general goods vendor Duakna will randomly jump up on the table where food is cooking and start dancing. The other vendors will then turn to her and tell her that they are embarrassed by her and ask her how she isn't burning her feet, and shortly after she will stop and everything will go back to normal. It's honestly impressive how many small little interactions Blizzard spreads across the world without ever adding a meaning to it besides world and character building. Now the last secret for today is probably one of my favorites since I love the reference material so much. On the Dragon Isles, near the temporal conflux, there is an NPC called Old Joe, yelling at his cart filled with cabbages, which tipped over probably because a wheel got caught by a rock. Everyone who's over the age of 15 should probably know by now that this is a very clear reference to the cabbage guy from the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. Obviously I got hundreds of secrets lined up for the future, and if you want to see another batch of 15 secrets, click on this video right here. If you enjoyed this video and don't want to miss any of my future uploads, consider liking this video and subscribing to my channel. I wish you all a great day, and I will see you next time.